What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about 5 crucial steps on starting a business. Let's say you have an amazing idea or even a product and you have everything ready to go and you don't know how exactly to go public with everything. Today I want to help you and give you the 5 steps that you need in order to push your business off the ground and do it in a way that's safe for you, safe for your clients, hopefully makes you a lot of money. Anyway, let's dive right into it. Step number 1, form a company. You don't want to operate as a sole proprietor. A sole proprietor is somebody who does not have a business entity set up. It's just you go in as yourself and you conduct business as yourself. Let's say you are new to the city and you start a cleaning service, right? You go in houses and you clean. As a sole proprietor, you go in, you do the job and you come back home, you make the money, and that's what the IRS calls it, a sole proprietor. Now, the number 1 reason why you don't want to do that is liability. You don't want to be liable for anything that you're doing while you operate your business. So when you set up an LLC, which stands for limited liability company, you separate yourself from the business under which you're conducting the service or selling the products. So let's say you're in somebody's home and you damage something. Your personal finances, your personal money is not liable, or you're not liable for that damage. It's the company, and only the money that's in the company that the people whose home you damaged want to go after you. They can only go after the company and everything that is in the company. You want to separate yourself from the business under which you conduct your service or sell your products to remove personal liability from yourself. Very important. Number 2 is for tax reasons. If you operate as a sole proprietor, so without a business entity, you are taxed by the IRS through the self-employment tax, which is a flat fee tax at 15.3%. So everything you're making is taxed at 15.3%. Now, forming a company can allow you more deductions that you couldn't do, like deductions for expenses that you couldn't do if you just operated under a sole proprietorship. And also, and I get to that in a little bit, there is a form of company that you can apply for that allows you to tax some of your money as with the 15.3%, which is called self-employment tax, and then the rest as ordinary income, which could put you in a lower tax bracket between 10 and 12%, but I'll get to that. So the way you want to set it up that you are getting the tax benefits I'm talking about is that you form an LLC and then you file with the IRS the application to turn your business into an S corporation. That's the legal entity you want to operate with to get these type of tax benefits. For example, compared to the sole proprietorship, again, what I mentioned is instead of paying 15.3% on everything, you pay yourself a salary, a reasonable salary, which is taxed with that amount. Let's say you're the manager of your own cleaning company, so you pay yourself a salary that's reasonable. That's definitely going to get taxed with the 15.3%. And then you can pay yourself dividends. You pull out more money out of the company to pay yourself. That's called dividends. And on those, you're taxed, let's say 10 or 12%, depending on the tax bracket that you're in. It makes a lot of sense, especially in the beginning of a business, to be an S corporation. The other form of corporation would be a C corporation. That entity is not a pass-through entity like the S corp. Pass-through entity means that the corporation itself is not taxed. You're taxed either through self-employment or through the income. So it's you as a shareholder who's taxed. A C corp is taxed as its own entity, so all the income it makes is being taxed. And then when you pay yourself through a C corp, that money is going to be taxed again. So you're going to be double taxed on a C corp. The reason why a lot of companies choose C corps as their legal form is because that's the only form you can go public with. So because an S corp can only have 100 shareholders, where C corps can have unlimited shareholders. When you go public on the stock market, you want to have more than 100 shareholders. So to the second step, I wanted to kind of show you guys how to set up a company. It's super easy. I'll do it on the example of a Florida corporation. And my first warning that I want to speak out here: do not pay any online company to set up your business, because it's really simple. They charge you $150 for a form that you would have to fill out anyways on the actual website of the government. Let's do it here as an example for Florida. It's sunbiz.org. That's the webpage where you can start a business. You see it right here. You click on limited liability company. That's usually what you want to do unless you want to do nonprofit, but that's more complicated. So limited liability company, file or correct, and then Literally, I have read and start new filing. You fill out, it's $125 the filing fee, and you would pay that plus $150 for these websites to file that for you, and they give you the same form, maybe a little prettier, so they don't do anything for you, they just take your money. This is for Florida. I'm sure it's similar in other states, but this is how you do it. You fill out all that information, you designate who is the manager, who's a member, you fill out this information, and then when you click continue, it allows you to pay, and then you get an EIN, which is also super important, under which you can then get a bank account, which I'll get to in a little bit. So it's very, very simple. Now, when you have a name, let's say you have a name for your company, but you don't know if that name is already taken, you can do search records here. Name, for example, I build LLC, and you see I build LLC exists, so you can check if the company already exists, and if not, that's epic, go for it, put the name in, file, and you usually have the letter within a couple days from Florida Division of Corporations. So super, super easy to do that, a very small filing fee. Now, I was talking about the S corporation. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about how to do that. You have to file form 2553 with the IRS to turn your company into an S corp. Also speak to an accountant about it. Accountants can give you very great, or a CPA can give you very great advice on this, but this is on how to file and how to set up payroll, because you have to pay yourself through payroll. You cannot not pay you through payroll for the reasonable salary that's taxed at 15.3%. So talk to a CPA, but this is pretty much the rundown. It's simple, it will save you a lot of trouble and keep you from the business separate. Now, step number 2, also very crucial before you go public with your service. And when I say go public, I don't mean the stock market, I just say go into the world with your service or product, is finances, guys. Finances, super, super important. So number 1, you want to establish a separate bank account for your company. So let's say you filed your company, you get your letter with the EIN, which is the employer identification number. And with your ID, you can go to a bank, any bank of your choice that offers business checkings account, and apply for a separate business checking account. There is plenty of banks out there. I used Chase in the past. They charged me a maintenance fee of, they have like contingent maintenance fees. If you have more than $2,000 in your account every day, they don't charge you anything. And if you go below that, they charge you $15 a month in maintenance fees. So you want to do that to have a separate checkings account, which is super important to not commingle funds. You want to have your personal funds completely separate from the business funds, and that's super important for liability and tax reasons. Again, why it's so important is because you want to be clear on your income and your expenses, right? For taxes, like you want to claim all the expenses that you actually had. You want to make all the deductions possible to reduce your taxable income. If you mix it with your personal funds, it's very, very hard to then at the end of the year go through and try to find, okay, what is a personal expense? What is a business expense? What is a business income? What is, like, I don't know, maybe a friend zelled you money back. It's very difficult to pick it out and like get a proper tax return ready, and your CPA is not gonna like it. Also, you can get audited by the IRS for it. It's very important that you keep it separate. It's also important for you to know if the business is profitable, to track your expenses. Like, we had instances where we're like, hold on, why are we paying so much for this? We could go back and we're seeing we're overpaying like an old software that we're not using. So you really want to have that set up so you can track it properly. And reason number 2 is liability. If you commingle your funds with the company's funds and somebody is suing you for, let's say, the damage in the house I was talking about earlier when you do your cleaning service, there's no separation on that. So they can, everything that's in your account is pretty much also the business's money because you didn't separate it. To an extent, you are personally liable for what happened because you didn't separate your finances. So super, super important, guys. Separate your finances and track your finances so you can see if you're profitable, so you can make it clean for taxes, and you reduce your liability to the company entity. You have all that set up, you're ready to go. Now, step number 3, super important, your online presence. Your online presence is pretty much the first impression that somebody will get from you. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but it is super important to convey your service and your product in the highest light. There are several websites for service and product. Step number 1 though is to go to GoDaddy.com to buy your domain. When you come up with a business name, you also want to check on GoDaddy.com. You can check if the domain is already taken, so you can kind of gauge if that's the right business name, or if you're okay with going for a .net, right? I built .net, for example. But there you can purchase your domain. So let's say www.ibuilt.com, right? Let's say that's still free. It's very cheap. You can buy it for $20 a year. And with that URL, with that domain, you then go to the services where you can build a website. You can either hire somebody to do that on Upwork. Upwork is a great platform of freelancers where you can find and get every service possible. And you can find somebody there who builds it for you. Or if you're on a smaller budget, you can also use services like Wix.com, Canva. What else do I have written down? Squarespace. If you have a product that you're selling, not just a service, you can go Shopify. I did Shopify, I really liked it. And WooCommerce or Magento. So there are several website builders that allow you to put in your domain, create the website, and then have an online presence. What I'm going to show you right now is I'm going to show you on Canva, which costs $12 a month to have like the premium. You don't necessarily need that. How easy it is to create a website. Okay, so first of all, they have a lot of templates which you can choose for. Let's just go with this one. No, this is launching soon. Top-notch legal service. There we go. Customize this template. So if you go look at this, it's super simple. When you publish the website, it allows you to put your domain in. So this is actually would go live. It's a very simple like website design, and you can get super creative with this. List your services. You want to have a contact info, right? So people can call you. You can make these buttons clickable, so people can actually call you from the website. You can also connect. You have integrations with this. You can connect Typeform if you want forms like get in touch or learn more. And then let's say you press publish this website. You can also purchase a domain through Canva, but you can get a free domain. It just calls it whatever. Okay. And then when you publish it, it's a perfectly designed website that people can find. And if you have a good domain, people will find you. See, it looks beautiful, just like a regular website. These things are not clickable. Let's see. Get in touch. It's not clickable. You can connect it though. You can hyperlink a different page. So it's not perfect, but it will get you started. And I think that's the most important thing. And important is also that you preview it in phone, for a cell phone. It has to look great on the phone because most people are on their phone more than their computer. And you can see here, for example, that your text is off. So it's not optimized here for mobile, but you can optimize it. And I recommend you do optimize it for mobile. Make sure that it looks sleek. They fucked up here the text, but other than that, it's good. Anyway, so very important to have a clean online presence. It's the first impression you make, and you want to make a good one. Now, touching on that, it's also great to establish a Facebook and Instagram account, depending on your audience, right? If it's younger people, you definitely want to be established there, maybe even Twitter, YouTube. So you want to be present on social media, but a website is the most important thing. Step number 4, guys, Google Business. If you think about when let's say you want to get your nails done and you don't have a go-to nail place and you're maybe on vacation on your phone and you're looking for nail places, what do you go by? What do you base your choice on? I can almost guarantee you that the answer is Google Business page. The Google Business page is what you find when, for example, on Google Maps, where it shows you the businesses with the reviews and the places. I base 90% of my decisions on Google Business. When I look for cleaning companies, when I look for stuff, I go based on Google reviews if the place has a website. So it's super, super important that you from the get-go, from early on, establish your Google Business presence. It's super easy. You just create a Google account and then create a business. And it's important that you give as much detail as possible. You want to give an address. It can be a PO address, but you should give an address, phone number. You should have service areas if you're servicing, or if you have a store, you should give the address of the store and the opening hours there. You should have pictures. Very, very important. You want to upload pictures consistently. That's how you get in a good standing with Google. Super important. But the most important thing is reviews, guys. Ask your clients for reviews. It's very, very important, and it will get you very far. Good reviews, and even not so good reviews, tell people the worst that can happen and tell people what to expect from your service or product. So very, very important to have a Google Business presence with accurate information, with pictures that you upload frequently, and with great reviews. Now, the last point which I want to make is, now that you have everything set up, marketing. You want to market to your target audience. I'm assuming if you have a product or a service, you already know who your target audience is, which is, by the way, very, very important. You want to know who you are appealing to create your design, your marketing, your service around that person, that avatar. So marketing is very important. You want to know who's your target audience and how to best reach them. So for example, for a cleaning service, depending on what type of cleaning service you have, but for example, what is a great idea is if you have larger high-rise buildings or multifamily buildings close to you, you want to go in and leave your card on the door of the condos or apartments of these multifamily homes so that you get a lot of exposure. People have a physical card from you. You send somebody, you go yourself, but it's not a lot of work because you can, knock out a lot of birds with one stone going there. So you want to leave a card there. Mailers could be a good idea depending on who your demographic is. Older people, I would say. You can do cold calling. You can do SMS texting, Facebook, Instagram ads, Facebook Marketplace ads if you have a product that you sell in a specific area. There's so many ways, and you want to make sure that you invest into marketing. Marketing is super, super important, and it will get you out there, will get your name out there. You can collaborate with influencers that promote your product to get the word out. There's so many ways, but it's really, really crucial. I think marketing drives your profits, big part. After having all that and you're ready to launch your product and start marketing the ways you researched before. You can ask ChatGPT what is a good way to market your product. I'm sure he'll have some helpful tips. But that's it for today. I hope this video brought you some value, guys. I love you so much, and I see you in the next one. Bye-bye.